here we go. Okay, he's coming in 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Cheers.
Yes, I'm
Welcome.
back. Oh, I should have gotten
Sips.
a fun
Cheers.
mug. Welcome back.
It's all right. Gotta start simple and then we'll crescendo as we get through
Yeah,
from one
yeah.
season to the next. Yeah. How's it going?
Oh, it's good to be back. It's been a while.
It has been a
Since
while.
we last did this show.
Yeah.
I feel like at least several many months.
I think the last time was August.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
I don't
basically
remember
half a
time
year.
anymore.
I think it's like half a year since we last did a Sips and Spiders. So
Yeah.
with
So,
Sebastian Solange. Hi, David. Welcome
yeah.
to the broadcast. Yeah, so good to be back.
It's
And
good to see the regular crowd again coming
yeah,
back. I recognize these names from before. See everyone's
yay.
still dedicated to the
Yep.
spider content.
Thanks for the love celebration, David. For anyone who's unfamiliar, we split the awards that are sent
Yeah.
after the show. So thanks, David Howden. Cheers. Yeah. So this time around, well, I guess before we jump into the organism that we'll be showing, right,
hmm
Sebastian?
Yeah.
First, I'll just ask, like, how are things going for you, spider-wise and everything these days?
Spider wise, things are
Yes,
looking
how are
up.
your spiders these days?
They're very good. I guess I can kind of maybe get my camera out here. And so the spider room's gotten a bit, I can never really get it far out enough to show, but spider room's gotten a lot better. There's a whole new rack. Well, I redid everything. Or at least the arrangement, so everyone's kind of on these two racks. And I've got a bunch of new spiders that are on this table over here, some of which we'll be meeting today.
Ooh.
So that's been very nice. My spider numbers have increased.
Yay.
I like try to keep myself from getting too many because it's very easy to get into the
Ooh.
it's very easy to order a lot of spiders. But I want to focus on giving the ones that I have like good care and attention. So I try to keep the
Hmm.
numbers pretty stable. But I
Can you
had a
please?
few. I think since we last talked, I had a one of my spiders, one of my tarantulas matured out into a male. I posted some
Ooh.
photos on him on Twitter that everyone seemed to like. This was my Chromatopelma cyaniopubescens. I never say the name out loud. The green bottle blue with this beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful
Hmm.
tarantula. But he matured out into an adult male. And so I found a breeder that was looking to breed them, and I sold him to the breeder so that he could go off and meet a female, as opposed to just kind of wandering his cage back and forth. Because when tarantulas and many spiders mature into an adult male in particular, their only real interest is to basically go out and find a female to mate with. And when they're, pets in a terrarium, they can't really do that. And so that left some space in the collection. And so I picked up a few new animals that are very cool. Some of which we'll be meeting today, but not. Well, I mean, we could meet more, but we'll see. I've got a
Yeah.
few that I want to really show off that are like very cool.
We have some questions here for you. Um, that I know this one was on my mind too. You're saying you're managing your numbers of
hmm
spiders, and will you give us an idea of how many spiders you have
I've been asked this like several
approximately?
times in like the last few weeks, and I always forget because I always have to count again. But I'm at about, I'm gonna just do the count. One, two, or just spiders. It's one, two, three, um, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20
Woo!
spiders, but I have five more arachnids that are not spiders,
Hmm.
bringing me to a
Hmm.
total of 25.
Nice. Enough
Yeah.
for each of your fingers and toes.
So enough that, yeah, it's a
You
good
can test
metric to
this.
keep it.
You can
Yeah.
test a spider bite on each of your fingers and toes if you wanted to do a weird experiment.
Yeah, that'd be a not great. That would not be advised because I did get one of my first old world tarantulas, and
Hmm.
so I am
Hmm.
not I'm very actively trying to not let that spider get on me in any way. Not that it
Which
wants to,
what
but
species is that? And what is their venom
I got
like?
a Poecilotheria regalis, so
Pokey,
the
right?
Indian
That's what they
ornamental
call them.
tarantula.
Oh yeah.
It was a gift
Very
from a
nice.
friend, and it already molted. It's really cute. It's like this big leg span wise.
Wow.
They have this like beautiful for people who are. If I pick it up, he's gonna hide. Though I saw him out earlier. Um, for people who are watching, they have this like beautiful like it's like really intricate but not super colorful. It's like this black and white with like some like subtle like purple blues maybe undertones in there. Really nice intricate pattern.
And a little bit
Um,
of yellow too, right?
yeah, the yellows on the undersides of the legs as adults. Really gorgeous,
Okay.
gorgeous spiders. But the genus is known to have relatively strong venom, and so very much a hands-off spider. Not that I handle most of my tarantulas, but definitely one that is just I just
Yeah.
watch it and take care of it, and it
Hence
does
the
not
word
come out.
ornamental. Is that
Yeah,
why it's called an ornamental? Because you can only look at it because
I
it's
think because they're just
venomous.
too beautiful. They're like really
That
pretty. Like
too.
every spider in that genus is like gorgeous.
Yeah. They're also, for everybody in the audience here, they are also a arboreal spider too. So you'll
Yes,
see it
yes.
like on the walls of the cage, on the ceiling
Mm-hmm.
even maybe, but mostly like the walls and the edges are hiding in
Yeah.
um, like a piece of curved wood or some sort of hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Some
though
other
as
questions
babies
for
they
you.
like to
Oh,
burrow.
really?
I've
I didn't know
so I've
that.
no like mine kind of sort of has a little bit of a burrow. It's like big enough that's not it's spending most of its time out. But I've
Uh-huh.
heard a lot of people with many poecilotheria, as young ones, they kind of burrow like into the ground, and then as they get bigger, they start being more on the sides of the enclosure.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Um, some questions about the spider mating
Oh
situation.
yes.
The Ziggle from Twitch is asking, how much did you sell him to the breeder, or how did that work, if
Oh
I might
yeah.
ask?
So that's a thing that I like kind of had to learn since I had my first two like last year was I my first two like mature male tarantulas. Um, there are several places online where tarantula people gather. There's a Facebook group. There's also a couple other forums. And so that's how I found a breeder that was interested in the area. Or I mean, it's not to ship them out, but like relatively close by. And this male I sold for 100, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Typically, male spiders, because they live longer, sell for less than females tend to, just because people who are buying them often want a pet that stays longer. Um, and then yeah, I just connected with the breeder, and we just like he gave me his address, shipped out the spider. It was pretty easy, and the spider traveled fine. It was an overnight shipment. Um, they made it fine and everything.
Will
So
you get any
I'm
of the
just
offspring?
I hoping to. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see
Okay.
when it takes a while for after the breeding for the female to like
Oh.
decide whether or not to lay an egg sac, and sometimes they molt
Hmm.
after breeding, and that means so when a female spider, well, at least for tarantulas, I don't know if other species are the same way, but because I'm only familiar with tarantula breeding, but when they molt, they basically have to mate again before being able to lay an egg. So many spiders can store sperm for a long time, um, but when they molt, that is kind of part of their exoskeleton, and so they basically lose whatever they had, and
Mm-hmm.
so they'd have to be mated again. So we'll see. I haven't heard from the breeder
Wow.
in terms of like how it's going, but hopefully in a few months we'll find out. Because it isn't that species is really beautiful, and I like would love to have one again because they're so pretty.
Yeah, totally. Good luck. Yeah, and
Yeah.
keep us posted for sure.
Oh. Speaking of which, you asked me a while ago about my T Vagans, my
Oh
the
yeah, red
Mexican
rump.
red rump. I believe she's female.
Oh
I have to.
darn. Okay.
I, I did I check her molt? It was a while ago, but I checked, and like from the ventral as well, it looks
Okay.
female.
Okay. For
So
any,
we may not be
yeah.
able to breed
All right.
with
Yeah. So
yours.
for everyone in the audience, I have two female adult mature red rumps, that Saffron, who's 14 years old. I think, yeah, 14. Yeah, she's 14. And then she's 14 in August, I think, actually. But anyway,
Oh, you
and
know her
then,
birthday.
yeah, well,
Oh, that's
approximate
good.
birthday, yeah.
Nice.
And then I could probably get her exact birthday, depending on if the professor who I got her from took specific notes. But and then the other one is her half sister, which is a couple, like I think maybe like 3 years younger, but I'm not exactly
Hmm.
sure. Frank is asking, what age is your oldest spider?
Um, I have one that is my oldest is probably a spider that I adopted. It's a female Grammostola rosea. And just based on her size and the fact that I've had her for 2 years and she was an adult when I got her, like it's really hard to tell, but it's probably like easily around 10 years at least. Those spiders can live to like 20 or 30. The
Yeah.
oldest spider that I guess I know that I have um, would only be around 4 years old because that's around when I started keeping tarantulas. So it's probably that adopted Grammostola rosea. Her name is Isabel. I got her
Oh,
when I was in Philadelphia working at the Philadelphia
yay.
Inquirer. And she is probably one of the only, I assume the only tarantula that has been inside the Philadelphia Inquirer newsroom.
Woo!
I assume, I don't know if,
Represent.
yeah, I don't know if other people have brought their spiders to work
Very
there, but I
likely,
did.
yes. That you're the yeah that's the only one.
Uh,
So is that the Chilean rose hair? Is that the
yeah,
common
Chilean
name?
rose hair, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Grammostola rosea.
cool. And then yeah, the red rumps. David Dunn is saying yes, they are indeed. Um, uh,
Oh God, I have so much
I
trouble
can't.
saying it.
I'm afraid to say the
I have to
word.
like try it because it's a mouth sound that I don't make very often. Tolotocatl I think,
Yes. Yeah, it
but
was
it's
recently
it's
changed from brachypelma
yeah,
to this more difficult word to say,
yeah,
just because of switches in the tree of life and the relationships that scientists and
yeah.
taxonomists are finding between the different species that are being studied.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and
Frank
the
is
name comes
remarking
from. Oh, go ahead.
that Isabella, that's the name
Yeah,
of, has
yeah.
journalism experience,
She
soaking it
does.
in,
Yes.
job shadowing you day to day at the Philadelphia Inquirer
Yeah,
newspaper.
yeah.
um, Dawn in the Desert, going back to the age, is
Hmm.
asking, are spider years like dog years?
I think it depends on the species, right? The there are definitely like jumping spiders, for example, like they live to like maybe 1 to 2 years, so like their time span is very. It's kind of like a dog where it's like this every year is a lot more. Um,
Yeah.
some tarantulas live on much closer to like human lifespans. Not all of them. So they're a lot are at around like 10 to 12 years, but there are some that like easily get into the 20s and 30s.
Yeah. And a
For the
lot of it's really
females.
still unknown, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know that the females of many tarantulas can easily surpass 20 years, or like that's known to happen. And the males only are like 8 years. So for them, it's like shorter than dog. Like their
Hmm.
years
It's
are
about
greater than
for
dog
like a
years.
large dog, around the
Yeah.
size of a large dog's lifespan.
Yeah. But then, yeah, the oldest documented spider was 43 at the time of death. And
Hmm.
it was not a death from old age. It was a death from being parasitized or eaten by a
Hmm.
wasp. That was
Yeah.
in Australia. So,
So we don't actually know how old a
yeah.
spider can get in great condition.
Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, Donna, we cannot count the rings on the legs. That's right.
yeah, that would be helpful, but
There's
no.
not like a way that we know
As far
to
as I
keep
know,
track.
there wouldn't be an. Yeah, unless you like are watching them and you, but like, yeah, there's no like.
Do their telomeres get short as they get older or
I mean,
something? I don't
probably,
know.
but
Yeah,
like,
probably.
good luck like sequencing and then counting the telomere like,
And yeah, finding the resources
yeah,
to do that.
no,
But
yeah,
yeah. Are there, so we can answer one or two more questions and then let's take a look at your
yeah.
arachnids.
Yeah, there's a
So one
question
of
from
the
Rick that I wanted to answer.
Oh yeah, have you
Do you see
ever
it?
had an incident where you got bitten by a spider with negative effects? Asks Rick Martin.
That's a great question. Because I've handled like I think easily well, at least over 1,000 spiders because I've collected around that number. And I've never been bitten by a spider. Um, it's like most animals. The spiders don't want to bite you to um, like eat you. They want to, if anything, they're biting to get away. And so as long as I don't put the spider in a situation where it feels like it's trapped, it's not going to bite me. And so, just like any other animal that I have or like a pet, I just give them their space, and I've never had any time where like a spider has tried to bite me. I have a few tarantulas that like get upset when I'm like trying to change the water in their enclosure, but I just use a pair of tongs so that they haven't even been in a tongs. They just kind of like put their legs up and will be like, don't mess around with me or I'll bite you. But they're often just kind of like barking, the tarantula equivalent of barking. So yeah, no spider bites. I know you've been bitten by a spider once, Issa.
Just once, and it was my fault, and I made it angry, and then just was optimistic and tried to pick it up, and just was not thinking. So I deserved it. And but yeah, I've been bitten by cats way more than I've been bit by a spider.
I
One
always
to
get bitten by
like
cats
a lot.
because I want to pet them. And like cats are not like dogs where you can just like start rubbing their belly. So I do often get.
Yeah. And yeah, like even with my cat Mika, like she'll sometimes bite as like a communication form. Like she's not biting to kill me or whatever, but she's like, "Hey, stop that." Like that's a sensitive
Yeah,
part of my body. So,
yeah,
and she's not venomous, so that's I guess another thing too.
it
But
is helpful.
while I mentioned venom, like all spiders have a cocktail of like proteins and things in
Mm,
their venom, but it's not, a lot of them are not significant when it comes to the effects that it has on people.
yeah.
Not a lot, most are not medically significant.
Hmm. So it's like I mean these animals they have venom because they evolved to use it to hunt, and so because most spiders in the world don't hunt mammals regularly, their venom like doesn't work with our biology, and so it like will not have a very strong effect. There are a few spiders that for various reasons have venom that does tend to work better on mammals, um, but those are really rare compared to most like the actual number of spiders that are out there.
Totally.
And even then it's like on a because humans are so big compared to like the things that the spider would eat, which would be like a little mouse or something. um, the effect is also like minimized because of your size. Because a lot of venom is kind of size based, like how much dose you get per your like body size.
Yeah. One other question that David Howden had was, are there any asexually reproducing spiders, and do you
There,
have any?
I don't have any. I believe there are. I know there are asexually reproducing other arachnids that I could think of. Like I know there's several opilionids or harvesters, harvestmen,
Hmm.
daddy longlegs, whatever you want to call them, that are asexual. I think there are asexually reproducing spiders. I'd be very surprised if there weren't, considering. Um, but I can't name a species off the top of my head as I like look to my other monitor to Google it.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I myself am not aware. So,
Um, I wouldn't be surprised if there is one, but I couldn't name a species on it right now.
mhm.
But that, given the diversity, maybe, probably. Other arachnids, definitely. Like, they're asexually reproducing scorpions, they're asexually reproducing opilionids, they're asexually reproducing.
All
Uh,
scorpions? Or
no,
like
not all
certain
scorpions.
ones you're
There's
saying?
just some.
Okay.
There's just some. Yeah, some.
Okay.
Some. Oh, at least it's some.
Got
Some
it.
species. And then there
Interesting.
are some amblypygids that also amblypygids
Speaking of
that
ambly
also
pigeons,
pivot to the topic.
also there was a question earlier relating to this as well that was,
Oh.
David Dunn's asking arachnids that are not spiders. What would that be?
Yes.
So, yeah, non-spider arachnids. Yeah.
Do you want to introduce us while I try to fiddle with my camera to get them
Sure.
on screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I will
So,
be off screen temporarily.
yeah. So arachnid does not automatically just refer to spider. Arachnid covers many different groups or orders is the level that we're at. So arachnid is a class, like insecta is a class for insects, and then arachnida. Um, I think that I'm a little rusty, so Sebastian might have to correct me on this, but I believe that one of the defining features is that they have chelicera on the front of their face with
Yeah,
which
that'd be in the group Chelicerate, so it's about how their mouth parts work.
wait, is
Um,
that's different from arachnid? What's
no,
the definition of
arachnids are a
arachnid?
type of Chelicerate.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
Chelicerate is the bigger group that
Okay.
separates them from Mandibulata, which is the group that includes insects, well, crustaceans and insects, insects being a subcategory of crustacean. And
Okay.
like things like myriapods, so like centipedes and millipedes and all that. Those are Mandibulata. They have mandib. Wait, yeah, they're in Mandibulata, I think. Ooh. I don't know about. I'm double checking millipedes, but anyway, yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
about their mouth parts basically.
Okay. Wait, but what's the defining feature to be in the group arachnid?
Arachnid.
Is it
So
their
if you're an
legs?
arachnid, it is the 8
The
legs.
8 legs. Okay.
The I believe that's the commonality is the like if we're going by like physiology, which is kind of how the old way that the groups are defined is, yeah, 8 legs, and then um, even though in some I think like some evidence of like head and abdomen, even though in some of them they're kind of more fused.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So when you taking those parameters, that means like other groups that are also arachnids beyond spiders are the harvestmen, the Opilionis, and which are commonly thought of as spiders. And then also another one is scorpions. Those are also arachnids. They have 8 legs,
Mm.
and chelicera. And then there's also some other groups that are not as well known, like sulfigids, which are sometimes called um, camel spiders or something like that.
Yeah,
And
occasionally.
then also what we're about to look at, which are commonly called tailless whip scorpions or
Or whip
amblypygids
spiders, I've
or
also
whip
heard.
okay or
They
whip
have a lot of
spiders, but they're
names.
not true spiders. They're just also arachnids. Another one that I love that's in this group because they're so cute are pseudo scorpions, which are little tiny pseudo scorpions. So they look like scorpions, but they're not. They're just morphologically really similar to scorpions in that they have their 8 legs and they have their front little pinchers that look like scorpions. But they do lack a tail like scorpions do, and they're harmless. Uh,
Okay.
so,
I
Terrence,
think I can
hello.
switch us over to my other
Oh,
video input.
okay. You can also, there's
And
also a share screen option too. I'm not sure.
okay, what?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Hold on, I can get more light on this. There we go. Hey, there we are.
So, right now we're looking at live
Oh,
footage of
yes.
Sebastian's amblypygid or tailless whip scorpion, which is hanging out on a piece of bark.
Yeah, it's a piece of cork bark. I took it out of its enclosure,
Nice.
and so
Are
you
you
can
able
see
to
a
make it
lot of.
are you able to make it a little bit brighter by any chance? It looks
Yes, I
a little on
have
the
that
dark side.
ability. Oh, and it has just,
Thanks.
well, see, the
It
thing
just
is,
scuttled away.
amblypygids don't like the light.
That's true. Maybe we have to shine the light underneath to scare it up. But it was a nice example of how they move. They move in this like so amblypygids or tailless whip scorpions are like the most one of the most like foreign, odd looking creatures and scary even looking. Many people like they look pretty scary, but they're so harmless.
Yeah.
when it comes to arachnids, or they couldn't hurt you at all, really. Like the most they could do is grab you with their pokey front um, arm palp. But
Yeah, they've got little like so those okay, yeah, so we can talk about their body. So the hold on. Focus. Right. So what we're looking at here is this so this is an arachnid, right? So there are parts that we can um recognize. They have a head like a spider. They have an abdomen like a spider. They have 8 legs. Um and they also have pedipalps, but those are probably the most different looking part of their body. So if you see those little red things that are kind of held up close to the front of their face,
on the left side,
those, yeah, those are the pedipalps. Oh, and off he goes.
oh, I just love
Or
watching them
they
move
go.
though. Just so
Um,
smooth
they're
and
quite
gentle
fun.
and
I can
delicate.
try another version of this where I just use my regular webcam and we can see how that
Sure,
works.
we can try that.
Um, we'll see if it
Try.
decides to focus that close.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
There
Oh
we
wow,
go.
is it a baby?
This is a baby. Yeah, that's why I was
Okay.
using the macro lens.
Oh, okay. It's
Um,
tiny. That
yeah. So one thing that's cool that you can see better here is how they're using that first pair of legs
yeah.
to feel around. They do have eyes, but they're very small, and the main way that they learn about the world is through touch and smell. So those first pair of legs, those are that was where they get their name, the whip spider. They look like these long whip-like appendages.
But
That is full of
they're not at all used like whips, just to be
yeah.
clear.
They're
Like
not. They're
there's
not
no
like
way they're gonna go like a
they
whip
can't. They're
because
really delicate, actually. So
really
they
delicate structures.
think of them as like one very very long finger slash nose. So just like your finger is really good at feeling really small differences in textures and stuff, they can do that, but as well as smell and taste anything that they're touching and
Yeah.
the air. And that's how they navigate life. There's actually been some really cool studies that show that they use smell in part to find their way home. So
Oh.
some species in the tropics will like go out at night and wander. Almost all of them are active at night. And they'll wander around looking for food, but then when sunrise comes up, they want to get back home. They have like places where they prefer to stay, and they'll
Hmm.
actually use the kind of the mixture of smells um, that are familiar to them to like figure out when they're in the right place.
Oh. Yeah, it's we can see the one front leg at the top slowly
Yeah,
moving up and down as I think it's trying to figure out like get a sense of what is going on around it.
yeah, because I have like moved it in a way that is very annoying to it.
Yeah,
It
so
was
it's
just hanging
probably
out, and then I
scared
like
right now,
threw a bunch of
being
light.
like, what's going
Yeah.
on? Some questions here. Do they have features that come out under a black light? And what do they eat?
That's a great question about the black light, or like
I feel like
UV
I
light.
doubt it with the black light, but it's possible.
Maybe I don't. I haven't tried it. I do have a UV light somewhere, and I don't remember where, or else I'd go grab it. But they eat just like most, like many spiders. They eat kind of things that are smaller than them. So for animals like this, it would be mostly insects, potentially some small spiders, kind of what they can get their hands on. They grab their food, so I can't see them now because we're not in the macro view, but with those little red pedipalps actually have a bunch of like spines on them.
Like
Yeah,
this.
they're like little like I've heard them described as like like deep frying baskets but with like spikes, and they basically like grab the food and just shovel it towards their mouth, which is kind of it's like they don't have fangs. They have so in spiders the chelicera are fangs, but in most arachnids they aren't fangs. Instead, they're little kind of like I call it. They look kind of like food scissors. They're just these little like kind of pinchy things that kind
Mm,
of shear across like the food into little bits, and then they just chew it like that.
yeah. It, you could maybe think of them as being like the arachnid version of a praying mantis that's
A
also
little bit.
nocturnal and lives in a cave. And yeah,
But the weird thing is, there are spiders that have praying mantis forelimbs.
really,
Like there are,
I'm not
there's a
familiar with
jumping
that.
spider that
Like
has the
raptorial
spiked
front
mantis
legs.
forelimb. Yeah. So
Wow.
one thing I'm gonna see if I can get this one to sit on my hand. One of the things that's really nice about these arachnids is they're very calm, and since unlike spiders, they're very
Question.
um
Oh,
pretty. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No,
it's
I'm like
oh
just trying to gently move it onto my hand, but
oh.
it's just like no, I want to stay on my bark.
Yeah. I wonder what it thinks about your hand, like what it's sensing on your
It
hand.
probably tastes really weird. It's like this isn't tree. This is like weird
Yeah.
warm animal.
Oh, yeah. Frank is asking, can they live in busy environments?
Um, Busy in terms of like complicated. So they live. A lot of them live in like tropical environments where there's just like a lot of stuff. But in terms of like busy with like a lot of human activity, as far as I know, there might be some species. I don't know. I don't know of any species that are like adapted to human habit, to human affected areas.
Yeah.
They
As
tend
it
to
is.
prefer more like unaffected areas. So yeah, okay. I got them on my hands eventually, but
Oh.
I would
So,
say more than like a tarantula. This is an arachnid that I'm very comfortable holding because they're
it's
very
so
good at holding
tiny.
on, and they mostly just kind of sit there.
It's gonna be like 4 times that size when it's an adult, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a small
which will be
one.
nice.
Yeah.
I got three, so hopefully I can
Oh,
breed them
nice.
when they're adults.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ugh,
he just
I
hangs
love
out.
amphiphidids.
Yeah, once they like calm down, they really just want to hang out and like see what's going on. It's not, is it really focused there? Focus?
Oh, nice. Can you hold it underneath the
No.
macro lens, like on your hand? Is that
Oh,
possible?
hey, that's an idea.
And
Let's try that.
we have some clarification on the busy question. Busy with other animals? I think if it's with around other amphiphidids, it's like okay. It's my understanding of them. But if there's like a oh, this looks great. This looks great, Sebastian. But if there's like a lot of other animal activity, because they're so sensitive to movement, I think a lot of changes in their environment is probably hard for them to manage.
Yeah, they hold on, it's really hard to I'm like I can't look through the camera, I have to look through the webcam
Oh,
to like
oh,
figure out where the focus is. So this is a bit of
yeah.
a an adventure for me.
It's
In
working right
hand
now
modeling.
and looks
Um,
beautiful. And wow, we can
but
really see
yeah.
that front antenniform leg really well.
Yeah.
So that's a
So that
highly
first pair of
modified
leg.
first front leg, and you can just see the way that it's so slender. It looks a lot like an antenna at the end of it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just it used to be a leg, but it used to be used like a leg probably one day back in history, many, 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 many generations ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
see how they hold them off the ground in this like coiled up position. That's like really typical. The legs are so long that unless they're feeling around with them, they like to keep them close. I'm guessing so that they don't get injured.
I think so. Yeah, whenever I've like been around them, they seem really protective of that part of their body. Kind of like how my snake, she would be really sensitive. Like if something suddenly like got up, like my hand came up to her face too close, she'd like quickly draw herself back.
Mm.
That's kind of what happens with their modified legs. Is that they'll if something all of a sudden shows up and surprises them, they'll draw it back really fast to try to protect themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty calm right now,
It's
just
just
hanging
like
out.
how you protect your like us humans, we protect our eyes if anything like
Yeah,
comes near us. They're trying to protect the part of their body that they need the most to navigate the world. And now, of
Yeah.
course, they're sitting under this bright light, so they're very upset with me.
But
You
they're
can get
doing
like a
really well. Good
head-on
job, little
view.
guys. How old do you think they are? Or do you
This
know?
one is only a few months old. I got them. Um, oh, my camera just did something weird. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with the camera, but I'll come back to the webcam.
Okay.
Um, I got them, I want to say like 2 months ago, and they were I like only a few months old at the time, so definitely
Oh.
like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. They're still very young.
Mm.
This one has molted, I think, twice since I got it. It's
Oh,
grown a
wow.
little bit bigger. You can see he's
Mm.
like feeling around now.
Yay.
You can see so he just stretched out his legs. His like first pair of legs fully stretched out is like that long from one side to the other. So they're a lot bigger than the animal's actual body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's their native habitat is in caves largely. Excuse me, but then also like probably
Tropical forest too.
tropical forests like
Yeah,
um they definitely make use of how their dorsal ventrally flattened, going through tight spaces, probably where bark is maybe as well.
yeah.
I saw one in the wild when I was studying abroad in Costa Rica on the side of a stream, and like a little overhung barky
Oh,
tree
cool.
space, and I think it was molting if I remember correctly. It was really cool.
Yeah, they molt in they it's really interesting way where they basically like fall out of they so like they hang on the underside of something and then they just kind of fall out of their old exoskeletons. They need a lot of room.
And they use gravity to their advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like many do.
because for them especially since their that first pair of legs is so long and delicate, they they have to like they just have a lot more to like wiggle out of than when other spiders are molting. Like because they have to like
Yeah.
kind of pull out of like a super long
They have
pair of
long
pants.
legs. Yeah.
Um, and they have to be able to do it quickly before the exoskeleton starts to harden, because if those whips get stuck inside the old molt, they could lose them, and that's gonna be like a real impediment for them because they
Mm-hmm.
really won't have they won't be able to like
Yeah.
sense a lot of what's going on. I
Yeah.
don't know if they can regrow them because I think they might be um, too delicate. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Um,
he's just hanging out on my hand. Like I've just been holding him this whole time.
where's
Um,
where is this species native to?
so this is Phrynis whitei. They're native to Nicaragua. So it's a Central American species. This is a really common one in the pet trade. They are one of the ones that people have had good success breeding them in captivity.
Hmm. Nice.
Um, and so, yeah, I got uh, three of them from a breeder last, it was like early December. So it really doesn't want to, like the webcam does not
Yeah.
want to look this close.
Yeah.
No,
It's
you can
funny
do it
because when you
webcam.
see it from a farther distance, it just seems more like a spider because you can't see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
distinguishing characteristics as much.
Oh,
Terrence.
Terrence had a great question.
Uh-huh.
Why don't they get stuck in their own webs? And the answer is very simple. They do not make webs.
No
So the
silk.
ability
No
to
silk at
make,
all, right?
yeah, the ability to make silk and webs um, is I guess there are other arachnids that can make silk, but in the way that a lot of us often think, it's unique to spiders. So that spinnerets, the two little like fingery things on the tip of the abdomen of a spider, that is used to make a web. These guys don't have it, so their abdomen's just round on the end. I'm gonna see once again if I can get my macro camera working again, and we can take a look at their abdomen, and you can see that it's just kind of round on the back.
Yeah,
Is
so
it
they
work?
don't have silk at all.
Yeah.
No web for them.
Okay, so
They
here one way. If I can, well, can't really turn my hand that way. Um, Wait, where is he? Where is he? Ooh. There we go. Okay, so
Yay. And they do have eyes, but they're very tiny
they're
and
really
simple.
tiny. Yeah.
It's a little
And
like pixelated for me, but it might resolve.
yeah, I'm
That's
trying to
happened to
like
me
focus
before.
it.
Oh, there we
Um,
go. It's there
yeah, it was
now.
I was out of focus.
Oh, you can see the
So,
spikes really well on its pedipalps.
yeah, so if I
It,
move a little bit this way, yeah, on their abdomen, it's just round at the end. They don't have those spinnerets that
mhm.
spiders do, and they don't make silk at all. Um, they, as far as I know, don't do anything like spiders do, where they like build a web or anything to like make their own home. They just find places to nest in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like Issa was saying, they're very flat, so they like flat places. Um, they're very good at finding flat places to hang out in.
They're very good at escaping.
That too.
So you have
I
to make
can
sure you have
maybe
a
get a
tank that
sense of
has
how
good
flat
air
they are.
circulation, but also has no cracks that they can whoosh, like squeeze right through. When I had one a while back, and unfortunately, it did escape because I didn't have the lid on securely enough. Luckily, I did find it because I searched all the skinny places in the room and I found it in a skinny place of a rolled up um, Magic the Gathering mat that my brother had out in the room.
Yeah, I'm glad you were
And
able to
so,
find them.
yeah, thank goodness. Because it's definitely, especially in a place like Pennsylvania, is really important to keep them in their tank because, especially in the winter, because they need moisture in order to
Yeah,
survive, and it just gets too dry in many houses in the winter in Pennsylvania.
yeah, that's been one thing that I've been trying to keep track of for all my pet arachnids is the moisture. So a lot of the arachnids you get these days in the pet trade are from Central and South America. Not always, but often from environments with a lot more moisture and a lot less. If they're from like equatorial Central America regions, they don't have too much of a winter, and so they're used to having relatively similar amounts of humidity around the year. These guys are not an exception. So yeah, they've got some soil at the bottom of their enclosures that I keep moist to keep some. I'm gonna put them back
Mm-hmm.
because I think this one's had a
Okay.
time
Have you
hanging
named
out, but
them?
I haven't named them yet. I take a while to name my all my pets just 'cause I try to find something that I like really like slash that fits.
Yeah.
But I can show you everyone what their kind of house looks like. It's very simple right now. It's just this piece of cork bark. It's like a vertical flat piece in this, and I have a little bit of dark paper so that when I lean this in here, they kind of have a darker corner because they, as you guys saw earlier, they really don't like bright lights. It does stress them out, and so you want to give them somewhere where they can hide in kind of a darker area to keep them more
Do you
comfortable.
do you have them separated? Like, are
Yeah,
they
yeah,
each in their own container?
yeah.
Are
So
they
some
siblings?
species, I think they might be siblings. I'm guessing because they're all from the same breeder, like same
Okay.
batch. So yeah, they're each in their own little
Oh,
hangout.
nice.
Um, I think there's one or two species that, or at least I've seen two. One is I think another Phrynis species, and then I've heard there's another like very tiny species that I saw that you can keep them together, but in a lot of cases they will just eat each other.
Mm.
Um, they're very interesting to watch hunt because again they don't hunt visually; they hunt by like feel, and so they can like when you're feeding them, if they like feel something, they will like dart in even without like facing the prey item. Sometimes like they'll just like turn and grab it. Um, and I think they're gonna be a little too stressed out to eat on camera. But it is quite fun. There's definitely
Mm-hmm.
videos of it online that I'd recommend people check out. Oh, this one. Okay, maybe I'll show you guys this one. This one's the biggest one. that I've got.
Little side question.
Yeah.
Are they spiders in your display case back there?
Oh yeah. Oh, that back there. Yes, there are. So that is a bunch of old tarantula molts that it's like really out of date because I have a bunch that I have not put up there, and then on the shelf next to it there, I just got if people who follow me on Twitter. No, I just got a bunch of these really cool
Oh.
models of peacock spiders.
I was wondering what they
Um,
were. I was like, oh, those are cool, but I didn't
okay,
like
maybe
know.
let's pivot to those
I
because
didn't
those are
know
fun.
what they were or like what the scale was. Like in my brief seeing it before this broadcast, was like, oh, that looks like an interesting museum installation. Like I thought
Yeah.
they were larger and they were like in a gallery.
No, they're like
I didn't know
okay.
what I was
Let me
looking
grab
at.
two here. So I ordered these a couple of weeks ago, and they are really really cool articulated models of
Wow.
peacock spiders.
Wow.
That in Japan there's a like apparently a particular line of kind of arthropod toys um, that you can find on eBay that I found through another person that I learned about through another person on Twitter. Actually, I learned through if anyone knows the no, now my mind's blanking on it, so I've forgotten. But anyway, they're super cool. First of all, just because like the attention to the detail of the shape of the spider, this is very much a like I study spiders thing, or like I've looked at a lot of spiders thing. But a lot of like spider stuff that I see in the U.S. is like it doesn't look quite
Oh,
like the animal, and like
yeah.
for
Like the
me that
designer
bothers me.
clearly didn't really like actually understand the anatomy of a spider and what was what.
Yeah, but this is like they really took their time
And
to
paid
like
attention and
I mean
understood.
if the like head shape and curvature is right,
Wow.
like the kind of relative sizing of the eyes, and like even like this little kind of like on the side of the head, I don't know if you can see it. On the side there's kind of like the way the kind of head indents in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got all the legs are articulated, so they've got like at least one joint in there, and then they've got the abdomen fan. So in Maraudus, the
Whoa,
males can
folds up
fold up their
too.
abdomen,
That's so cool. I didn't
and
know it.
then
Wow,
they lift it up to display, and then it pops
that's
open.
awesome. That's
And
so
I've
cool.
I've just been kind of geeking out about these all day because they're just very they like
That's
make me
fantastic.
intrinsically very happy.
Wow, those are awesome.
Yeah,
You could do like you could like
like a
act
stop
out.
motion.
Yeah, do a stop motion
Yeah, I
acting out of
definitely
the
thought about
dance.
it
Yeah.
because
If
since
you
you
had,
can like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you had gotten these before your PhD, you could act out your PhD with them or
Oh,
something.
that would have been great. Yeah, I really wish they had these for Habernatus. Though honestly, yeah, if
Request
I
it.
would still use them. They also so
Yeah.
that was a male one. They've got it was four species of males of different species, and then this is a female. So you can see the female's got a larger abdomen. She doesn't have the abdomen flaps,
Mm-hmm.
and is kind of this drabber color, which is a really common trend across many jumping spiders, where the females are more camouflaged and larger than the males. Though I think in real life they use the same like casts for these. In real life, the female would be like just like overall bigger than the
Oh,
male.
okay.
Here they're like the heads are the same, you know, like model.
I see.
Um, but females like especially in Maraudus, the females are just like big, bigger, much bigger than the males.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, it's very cool. It's just like I don't know, I'll tell you, it's just really nice to see like very thoughtful, like artistic depictions of spiders. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a thing that I'm used to, and it just makes me happy that people are like thinking about them, and that there's like a market, enough of a market for people who like want to see a cool jumping spider that like they made these.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah. Awesome.
Um, if people want to find them, I found them on eBay.
Okay.
If you put in the like kind of series line is diversity of life on Earth. And then you search, the brand is Bandai. And so you just put that in eBay, and you should find some listings for them. There's like one or two resellers that like are shipping them overseas. Strongly recommend for anyone in your life that really likes jumping spiders, because they're just like the perfect little like desk buddy. I wish I was sponsored by them, but
I think I found it.
yeah,
It's like 5 pieces
like a set.
model.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
what I got.
$50.
They're also solo
plus
ones.
$24 shipping or something
Oh,
like
the
that.
one that I got was 55 shipping included, but they might have sold
Okay. I'm actually
that.
surprised that that's how much they are. I expected them to be more expensive.
No, see, that's the
So,
wild thing.
yeah,
In
that
Japan,
shows. Yeah.
this is 500 yen. It's from like a gachapon machine, so it's like a toy vending machine kind of thing, or like
Oh.
what are they? What are they? They
Wait, is
they have
500 yen not that expensive? I don't know
500
how
yen
that
is like
converts.
around $5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like that's
see.
the wildest thing, that like for
That
$5 you get something with this much like attention to detail.
it also, yeah, I think that
It's very
shows,
impressive.
yeah, they're just like more into those things
Yeah.
than we are here.
I
Like,
think there's less of a stigma against arthropods. It's more of a like positive type of animal in like for children and in the culture in general.
yeah.
That I really would like to kind of encourage that sort of thing in the U.S. because like I want to be
Yeah.
able to buy these everywhere. I want more species of spiders in these.
Me too.
And
That's
the colors
awesome.
are painted onto the plastic. So like they're really nice. Like the patterns on the head, they've got the like speckling and everything that like makes them feel like the actual hairs of the spiders. And then there's a texture, like it's textured on the surface. So it's not just smooth plastic. It like looks really good. Like I it's hard to show it off just on the camera, but
Yep.
like especially on the females, you can see on the abdomen, they didn't just like put in two colors. Like it looks like a natural pattern, and that there's like slight imperfections.
That's cool.
It's like really quite nice. So
Yeah.
again, please sponsor me, Bandai. I will sell your cute spider toys very well.
Yes, definitely. Frank is asking, are the colors printed or painted?
Yeah, so they're mostly painted. There's like a base printed color that's like the color of the plastic, and then it's painted on top, from what I can tell. Yeah, I believe the most of the coloring is painted. Oh, there is oh gosh, there's for people who want an interpretive dance of spider research, I think a group at the University of Nebraska Lincoln did a interpretive dance based on wolf spider courtship, and
Oh,
I
really?
strongly recommend that. It is on YouTube somewhere. So you will need to use your YouTube
It
abilities to find
exists.
it. It exists.
Yes.
I found it before.
Use your
I
spider
just
senses to go find it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but like I believe you. Wolf spider dance, University of Lincoln. You've got the clues. You can get there. But yeah, I am a very bad dancer. And so while I do my version of my spider's courtship dance in all my like research talks, it's not very involved. Yeah.
For anyone who is in the middle of doing a PhD, tomorrow is the deadline for the Dance Your PhD contest.
Hey, there you go.
So, talking about this thing, you must post the video on YouTube or TikTok, tells of the times that that's a place where you can submit it. Send us the link by January 28th. It's funny
Yeah,
to
that's
think
great.
about, I mean, to go on a tangent, it's funny to think about how far TikTok has come along. So I remember going on there in 2019 before it was popular in the USA and nobody was there, and I was
All right,
like,
we get
oh,
it. You're
let me
cool.
test it out.
I mean,
And then
I'm not on TikTok. I'm an old now. I'm sorry to say.
Not too late for you, Sebastian. No.
I think it might like eat me. It
You
like
still
might
talk?
eat my brain as someone with ADHD.
Oh, you're gonna
I
love
think if
it.
I
I
look
loved
into
it.
it, I
It
can't look
it's
away.
I was so like entranced by it, especially because I was in the middle of studying for my communication masters, and so
Mm,
the mix of just yeah, the mix of like what exploring new avenues to share science, and also like um, all those sorts of things. Like I tapped into it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like all the best of social media, like put into one. It's like hyperactive Instagram. Like they're using all these like really effective communication techniques to make it really engaging and to
yeah, there's
have
some
everyone
good
have a
stuff
chance
there.
to be heard on the discovered on the platform. And but I was there, I did some things, and I was like, oh, no one else is here. Or like not no one else is here, but like there wasn't a science community there.
Right.
So I kind of got busy with stuff and now it's like there and
Came
I'm
back
like
and like everyone's
interesting.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a I follow a lot of people who repost their TikToks on Twitter. And that's how I
Yeah,
view
yeah.
TikTok content. But like it's really good. Like I've seen some really good sci come on it.
There
And
is.
I'm
It's really
impressed by
fun
the
to
amount of
use.
effort people put into it.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that made them so successful is that they had those tools right in the platform. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just empowered people to be creators and to tap in and try different challenges with their own spin. It just like where some platforms you can kind of get into like doom scrolling or like get sucked into like feeling like blah or like whatever because you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing all the different highlights of things and just you know um this I felt was more inspiring because I was like, all right, like this challenge is so interesting, how can I do my own spin on it? Like I just found it
Right.
like exciting in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think having not been on it, I can't say too much, but I will say like they do whatever they've got on their algorithm, it does really like optimize. It like tries to feed you stuff you really really like is what I've read
mm,
about it.
yeah.
Um, and so you can
Yeah.
if you what like I know you have to like kind of like teach it what you like, but I've heard if you do that correctly, it will send you lots of cool stuff, and you can
Nice.
kind of
Yeah.
get in the like science TikTok world.
Yeah. Um, definitely. I have not gone
Are
on
you
a lot recently, so it's
okay? I was
probably
gonna
somewhat
ask.
different now. Yeah.
You
But
should. I mean, I feel like you should like try it out again. I feel like a
yeah,
lot
I'm
of the stuff that you
yeah,
like
I have
show
fun with it.
on Bugscope would do great as a TikTok.
Yeah, that's true. I've been so busy this past year that I just have not had the time to do it.
Yeah, no, I know that
But
life.
I think things are a bit settled more for me now, so I might wander back that way and try. Like there was one, for example, TikTok trend. I love tapping into the trends with entomology spins. Like there was one that was like I don't know if anybody remembers this. It's probably such an old one by now, but I still do it if I have a chance with my tarantula. There's one where people like you see the person and they're holding the front paws of their dog or their cat,
Uh huh.
and it's like a music thing, like a dramatic pause
Mm-hmm.
entrance, and then all of a sudden it goes like doing the dancey dancey do 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 do, and the person's like jumping around with their pet dog in a circle or their cat
Don't
in a
know if your
circle.
tarantulas will appreciate that.
So the spider spin is that my plan would be I'm gonna hold my tarantula on my hand for it with
Uh,
its legs on each of my fingers.
yeah.
So when I get to that point, I'll just like do this so that it's kind of dancing to the beat. So it's possible.
Better pick a really calm individual.
It's
Um,
definitely gonna be with Dr. Joanne Thackeray, the Chilean.
Rosehair, yeah.
She's
Yeah,
the
I could
chillest.
see Isabel maybe putting up with that, but also
Yeah.
maybe just like turning into a stress ball and wanting to go away.
Yeah, another one that I think would work well too would be a pink toe because they're avicularias. They're
You know,
so
they might
chill.
be better in that like they might like also if you're holding it, I mean obviously like you want to
You
hold
can
it
see the
like
toes
just above
well.
the surface. But yeah, and
People would like the
they're
pink toe.
grippier since they're
True,
arboreal.
arboreal.
Yeah.
I don't have one right now, so it's not an option.
Neither
But
do I.
one
And
day,
I have Carabana versicolor, but
mhm.
she's not she I would not hold her. She's very like generally annoyed at my existence.
Oh.
So I
I'm
don't like
sorry.
handle her at all, even though
Yeah.
she's like very beautiful.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Um, Terrence is saying, I just imagined Issa walking her spider with a leash. Um, I'd be afraid to put a leash on a spider unless it
Yeah,
was
I
like a
mean,
fake leash. But I just can't even
I don't
imagine because
know.
they're so delicate. But
Yeah.
if I
Also, the
could,
spider wouldn't
maybe
want
I'd
to
try.
walk anywhere if it's like a tarantula. Um,
Yeah.
you
Like
could like I
there's nowhere good to put a leash around the body of those animals, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Because it's
leash
all
around the
legs.
pedicel, I guess. No, I mean, you could go
You
in
think you could?
between legs 2 and 4 around the
You think
head
that might
or
be okay? They're so tightly packed,
around.
which is why I feel like it'd be awkward almost no matter
It
what.
wouldn't be comfortable or safe in any case, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, what if you had to do it? But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. They're not
Yeah.
animals that you take on a walk. They're animals that you make a nice house for and let them explore that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, David's saying I gave up on TikTok. Signal to noise ratio just seemed too low. What do you mean by that? I don't really understand.
I think like there's just like a lot of like
There's a lot
stuff
going
they're not
on.
interested in. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think from what I've heard, and Issa, maybe you can say this, it's a lot
Yeah.
about um like building the algorithm to like learn what you like to see and then it'll show you that kind of stuff. But
Mm. Yeah.
I know
So,
there's no like way to like follow people as far as I know.
oh, you can follow people on it. Yeah.
You can? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You follow, and then it has like the For You page, which is the main page, which shows you random stuff, which is why
Okay. That's what I'm
it's good
thinking.
for discoverability because the homepage is immediately a new person to you that you might want to follow versus
So
on
you
like
can tell that
Instagram or
I don't
other
go on.
things. And then there's also like the people you follow thing that you scroll on.
Gotcha.
Um, but I do
Yeah,
think that
perhaps I'm not the best for
people,
TikTok advice.
I do think that you'd be very good at it, Sebastian, because I think that, not to go off on a tangent about other things, but I do think that like the social media stuff in general, um, Instagram included, but like especially TikTok, is really well oriented for people who have ADHD or who creators who create with that creativity like
Right.
of fleeting from one attention grabbing thing to the next because that's what like the TikTok algorithm, if you're able to get people to watch yours over and over again,
Yeah, see,
that's
I don't
what
know if
gets more people your way. That's like it knows that, and so it knows it's popular and
yeah.
interesting to people. um
I've thought about it for sure, but I'm like
yeah.
I never know if I'm like though I do have ADHD, my ability to create content for the ADHD brain is limited to be like, "Hey, look, cool spider."
Yeah.
um at the moment. I mean, and I'm sure that's there's definitely stuff there, but right now I'm just trying to get my photos more consistently. Like if you people who are here from my Instagram, how did you get here? I don't know. This isn't posted on my Instagram. But I don't post that often, even though I'd like to. Um
Maybe you can try here's an idea. Now we're like yeah. Here's an idea for you if you're interested. Because you do oftentimes have series of photos. So just take
yeah.
that series of photos, put it in a series,
Yeah, and
put
then like
slap some music onto it, and then like tell the story of the photos.
see that actually is not a bad idea.
I think
I
that's
could
your
totally
entry
do that.
point. Since you were just saying, oh, I'm focusing on posting
Yeah, no,
photos.
I
That's your
actually
entry
did. I
point.
did a little photo story like a few weeks ago that could totally work for that.
Yeah. And yeah,
Okay, if I
it
end
can
up
eat your time up.
if
Like Frank
like
was saying.
we smash cut to like 6 months in the future and Sebastian's just like on TikTok all day, this is your fault.
Woo!
And if I'm super successful on TikTok for whatever reason, it's also your fault. So there
Woo!
you go.
Well, if you want to do any collaboration on there too, let me know. And the thing too, Sebastian, you have so much content potential when it comes to like little videos and things like that. Like for me, I
It's
don't have a
true.
lot
I have
of
a lot of
live
old stuff.
animals right now because I'm keeping it chill from my
Yeah.
transient and uncertain life these days. But you have so much potential. Like I can only use like what I've snapped in the field. But you have all
Right.
these beautiful animals that you can like take a little clip of and just put it on music and say something cool about it because you're so knowledgeable about it all too. That like you have it. It's you have so much potential there
Yeah,
if you
it's
have the
all it's
time
all
and
there.
everything like that. If you
See,
want
that's
to,
it's always the time because they're like 10-second videos, but
it takes
like
a
I
long time to
know
make.
to do it well, it takes like you've got to like because I see the edits, I see the like the cuts and everything. I see what people are doing
Yeah.
into it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Uh-oh,
Um,
I'm being blamed in the chat for Frank's time being lost on TikTok.
yeah,
Cheers. Yeah, I that's partly why I haven't gotten back into TikTok because I know that the content is just like
that's kind of my
woo.
thing
But
as
I
well. Is like I'm trying to
do
keep
want to go
my
back
like
there.
keep control of like the amount of time that I have in the day and everything. But I
Yeah.
know it's a really good way to like reach a lot of people that aren't on Twitter, which is like my main platform.
And video is the way of the
Um,
future.
yeah, I know. I
Even
really
on
got to make more video
Instagram.
content. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Insta is like low priority for me right now because it's its own algorithm hell.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's
I'm try
definitely something I've thought about and like would be curious to
Well,
try.
if you have any
If I
questions,
do,
I can like go on and on and on and on about TikTok
I will ask you
because
about it.
I literally like studied it and like was just like once again like it was in the middle of when I was doing my master's in communication. I was just like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, this touches upon this theory of communication and this does that and blah 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 blah." So, I even like had reached out to one or two creators being like, "You have to come on Instagram. Like your content's so good for it. Like all you have to do is just
Mm-hmm.
post what you're already doing over there on TikTok, I mean." And like this was yeah, back in the day before people came on board. So I don't know how it is now as well. Like I'm sure like when I was there in the beginning, it was definitely like a there was a lot of it was like a new frontier and not a lot of like it was easy to kind of
Pick
make
up a
yourself
following.
in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah, where now I'm sure that's it's a bit more
It seems a
crowded
little more
and maybe
crowded.
like more saturated, but still. Anyway,
Well,
yeah, I could talk about TikTok a lot.
yeah, well, we can
Even though
cut
I
it off
haven't
before
gone
this just
there. Yeah, we can
becomes
end it now.
sips and spiders and TikTok.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
um,
Yeah.
maybe we can
So,
wrap up with. I'm trying to. What's a cool thing we can wrap up with? Um,
um,
because I do have to take off soon.
okay. Well, one thing that I'll say since we're talking about other platforms is that I'm planning on posting a photograph of a lynx spider on my Instagram
Ooh,
because
cool.
I'm gonna do a rainbow on my Instagram of
That's awesome.
posts because I posted 3 blue beetles and now I'm gonna post 3 green things and then 3 yellow things and then 3 orange
Oh,
things
that's
and then
awesome.
3 red things and then whatever color I can do next. So
Cool. Are you
yeah.
are okay? So I have some link spider photos. I have some. I've like my
Oh,
goal has been like try to get edit through the photos that I took last year, which tells
oh,
you how far
nice.
behind I am on
Oh,
my photo posting.
these are, I have
Um,
so many backlogged photos.
Tag me when you post your links photo, and then I'll
Okay.
post my link spider photo
Okay.
and tag you back.
Okay,
And
great.
we can just do like a link spider day.
Sounds great.
Um, which will
Yeah.
for they're really cool, weird spiders, man.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
there was that one that I posted on Twitter a while back that I thought was a jumping spider. And
some of
Spider
them
Twitter was
really
like,
look
nope,
close.
it's a lynx. And I was like,
They
what?
some of them
Mind
have
blown.
like it's just the eyes. Some of them have like the posture down really close, and it's just when you see the eyes are even sizes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're really pretty though. The green ones are so like
yeah, I think the one I've got is one of those kind of transparent green ones.
yeah. They're also the ones that I often encounter as like the moms by their huge cluster of just
Oh, I've never
recently
seen
hatched
that. That sounds
babies.
cool.
Yeah, it happened in when I was well, it happens every so often. Unless I'm also Mexico. No, I think it is them. It happened in Ann Arbor too, but also in Mexico and I was there recently. But anyway,
Oh, cool.
um
Well, cool. Maybe you said you're gonna post those tomorrow or just
I don't know.
soon?
I'll let you know. How about
Okay,
we'll
yeah, just just
decide?
just tag me. Just tag me.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're
Um
ready to go whenever it
yeah, no,
happens.
I mean like cuz I could just like
Oh,
it's like I can sit down and like edit the photo and just put it. But it's one of those things where it's like when I'm like, "Oh, go through all my photos." It feels like an infinite thing, but any one photo I can just chuck it on the internet.
okay. Sounds
Um
good. So everybody
yeah.
out there, post your links photos soon.
Yes.
We'll give the
When
cue.
we start, let's just throw
Links
link spiders
love.
at the internet for a day just for fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Thanks for
Yeah.
reconvening for Sips and Spiders,
Yeah.
Sebastian. It's always really fun to talk to you about spiders and arachnids. And thanks for showing off your three little baby rainbow
Yeah.
pigeons. They're so cute. And
Yeah. I'm really happy to this was their first outreach event. I
yay.
think. Maybe I forgot, but it's their first internet event. I think there was maybe someone showed them in like a I did a classroom visit. I don't know. I don't remember things anymore. This is a problem. But this was their first internet debut.
Yay.
And so it's nice to be back here talking to you and just kind of letting the spider part of my brain just kind of like ramble for an hour is very like
Yes.
relaxing in a
I
way.
enjoy rambling with you on Sips and Spiders. Cheers. And hopefully everybody else does too. Thanks. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're all a part of it also because of the questions
Thanks for
and
joining
comments
us.
and jokes and everything. Definitely part of it. So yeah, also I'll note it'd be really fun to also have them back when they're adults and like to
Yes,
check in.
definitely.
And is it like a year maybe or 2 years or I don't know.
First time keeping them, so probably
Okay.
in that side. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
I'll let you know as they grow up. They've been molting pretty regularly, like
Awesome.
every like month or so since I got them, month or 2 months. So like
That's a
they're
decent
growing at a pretty
amount.
good size.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll when they get back and I have like three of them like on my hand and on my head, that'll be a fun show.
Hmm.
Because I do really want to get them for their like handleability for outreach events.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
we'll definitely do that in the future.
Sounds awesome.
All
Cool. Well,
right.
thanks, Terrence, David, Frank, everyone. Thanks for joining today and all your questions and comments, and take care. Have a
Yeah.
great week,
Bye,
everyone, and
everybody.
weekend. Until next month.